Last time on the Great Ace Attorney 2.
State your name and occupation for the court.
Yujin Makotama. What? Is there something on my face?
No, I just like staring at you.
Quite unsettling.
How old are you?
Whoa! I don't think we have a space on the bingo card for that one.
Taylor, will you just take your sex-obsessed brain somewhere else for a bit? It's because she wants to know if he's gonna die soon.
You were present at the autopsy of my brother. Well, Dr. Wilson asked me to be his primary assistant on that occasion.
Do you remember Inspector Gregson?
If it wasn't for his insistence, Lord Van Seeks's autopsy would never have happened. He was absolutely convinced that it would reveal decisive evidence against Genshin.
But Gregson admitted it before he was killed. He admitted that the results of the autopsy were fabricated.
From my own observations, I couldn't say there was any indication of the autopsy results of having been fabricated.
Professor Makotama, are you certain about that?
Well, nothing that I could positively identify as such.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Well, that clears things up nicely.
The only fabrication here, Asogi, has come from you.
You claim the inspector confessed just before his death, but that is the fabrication.
My father's ring was inside the victim's stomach?
I bought the ring along with me today.
Makotama's like, my goodness, that thing is cursed AF.
And that was found inside the victim's stomach?
I'm afraid so.
You'd think that swallowing that would do some damage on the way down.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
The court has heard that the ring was extracted from the victim's stomach, but you didn't actually see it being removed, did you, Professor Makotama? In other words, you can neither confirm nor deny whether this ring, in fact, really came from the victim's stomach or not.
What are you suggesting, counsel?
It's inconceivable that no traces of its passage down his throat would have remained as internal trauma.
It seems you've thoroughly convinced yourself of this alleged fabrication of the autopsy results. If that were the case, why would Asogi not have disputed the findings in his trial? The defendant never once denied the claims against him.
My lord, your reasoning is perfectly sound. But for one giant hole, you've overlooked the possibility that he had a reason for maintaining that silence.
There were suggestions of some sort of negotiation between Mr. Asogi and the British government. It's time for a Disillusion Plays the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolver, featuring the girl with purple hair that's fun to wear. It's Sarah.
Hi.
The man with a headache who takes the cake. It's Pete.
Oh, his cake's so delicious. You've got to try some, honestly.
Hi.
And the least talented member of the group, it's me. I've been here the whole time.
It's the man that talks out of his bottom. You are talented, shut up.
Taylor, the thing about doing this kind of intro, right, is that when you use a description like, oh yes, the person with the purple hair, this is an audio-only thing, right?
Well, her avatar her avatar has pink hair. Okay, well, whatever.
See,
Look,
you've just completely, like, ruined it.
It's
What
me,
else
the
is
purple
new?
hair.
Anyway, hi everyone.
Hi.
Hope you're all doing well. I hope you enjoyed that introduction because we just watched a really brilliant episode of Game Changer
Oh
last
my
night where they did a
gosh.
whole musical thing.
Yeah.
And so I was inspired by that.
Phenomenal.
But just in case you don't know who we actually are, we are Disillusion Plays.
We are.
I'm Pete.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Taylor.
Nice.
There we go.
Nice. And now, just before we hop on in, if you do like what we do, if you like seeing very long, botched intros for no particularly good reason, why don't
There's
you
a
hit
lot
that
of
like button, hit the subscribe button, and ring the bell to receive notifications about when we post future content. And if you want to do us an even bigger favor, why don't you catch another video after this one? You know, if you lazy Saturday, lazy Wednesday, whatever, and just want to pop on one more thing. You know, we've got a big backlog of content. But for now, things are getting spicy.
Things
So
are
let's see
getting
what's going on.
very spicy.
Especially for me,
Also,
who's going to
poor
have
Pete.
to voice like 5 people.
Oh yeah, so this is actually Disillusion Plays, but just Pete.
Well, it's Disillusion Pete Plays.
Disillusion Pete, yes.
Yep.
And I think
Disillusion
he will be
Pete,
by
yes.
the end of this episode.
Yeah.
Are you?
It's
are you-
Disillusion.
Oh, sorry, Taylor.
Disillusion Pete with occasional contributions from Sarah and Taylor.
Well, we'll see, because
Yeah,
it
we'll
might
just
not
kick
be.
back for an hour.
It might not be. Who knows?
Are your vocal cords ready, sir?
Ready as they'll ever be.
Okay.
Let's actually do something before everyone clicks off.
All right. My lord, you must permit this trial to proceed as you declared at its outset. You promised that we would stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings.
I don't think I will. I don't like the idea of you implicating me.
Well, it's a little bit late for that. Ooh.
You know
Oh,
what?
that
You know what,
face.
though? He'll just do a Donald Trump. He'll just be like, I have considered the evidence against me, and I have decided to clear myself of any and all wrongdoing. Good day.
I have pardoned myself as the Supreme Court Justice.
Yep, Supreme. Oh my god. Very well. Bring in the witnesses.
Oh yeah, we're bringing it on.
Make no mistake. I, too, would like nothing more than to lay this business to rest once and for all.
So the one thing we can be sure of is that he doesn't actually want to. Well, I suppose he does, but it's like it's going to be like, okay, well now I'm going to hit the poisonous gas button.
He wants to lay them to rest in the
All right,
grave.
Oh
Pete,
no!
Are you ready?
Oh
He wants to lay them to rest in the 6 feet under. That's what he wants to do.
Exactly. Would the new witnesses state their names and occupations for the court, please?
Right. So, nobody
you
make,
ready?
Nobody make fun of all the voices sounding the same. I'm looking at all of you watching this. I know who you are.
Big love for Pete, guys.
Aye, Barry Caidin, governor of Barclay Prison.
Oh, I wasn't. Everyone calls me gossip. I sell jaunty little bits of.
Your other persona, if you don't mind.
Oh, I forgot his gossip voice.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I can't remember
I
now.
can't remember. Oh, I do beg your pardon. Of course.
Well remembered, Pete.
I remember this one. It's a gossip one. My name is Daily Vigil. I used to be the chief warder at Barclay Prison.
The reason you've been summoned here to court today is to testify about the jailbreak of this so-called professor 10 years ago.
Oh, right.
gosh.
So,
The professor? We've already been through all this before, a decade ago.
Why are you
So-
sweating?
I want to put this theory out there so that I can look clever if it's right, and then if I'm wrong, well, everyone knows I'm stupid anyway. But I think that the reason why Seishiro agreed to this whole assassin exchange was because he worked out a deal with Strongheart to arrange for Genshin's release, or to Genshin's jailbreak. So basically, his part of the deal was that he would agree to tie up the loose ends. Genshin would be jailbroken and would be able to go back to Japan. Except Strongheart then pulled the Darth Vader and was like, I have altered the deal. Pray I do not alter it again.
Taylor just
And
really
Seishiro-
likes Seishiro, and so he's just like, I don't want him to be a baddie. I must
I mean,
think
I
of
don't.
reasons for him to not
But
be a
he's
baddie.
he's also, whatever, honorable to a fault. So even if Strongheart reneged on the deal, he promised a certain thing, so he'd do that. But anyway, we'll see if that's right.
And the conclusion was that there wasn't anything that untoward happened.
Also, I guess they've rebuilt the bench in the time since Seishiro smashed it.
Oh, yeah,
I guess
actually.
they got the court carpenters as
Well,
well.
it's got the bailiff. I'll just wheel out a spare bench.
They had one made because they knew he was on the stand.
See,
Like, right, boys?
Right, what you've got to understand, right, is it was just the single witness bench, right? But now that has been smashed and there's multiple witnesses here, we're going to wheel out the multiple witness bench,
bigger bench.
which is all right. We haven't broken that one yet, so that's fine. And we've got the carpenters in the back making a new small one, ready for when it's down to a single witness. We're on it.
It's like Wilson with the 2 flashlights in his trunk for when House tosses it down the drain.
A complete random reference that one person might get.
If you've watched House, you know.
Yes. If you watch, God, is it like season 5 of House MD?
Yes.
Oh goodness, right. No, so let me just try.
And the conclusion And the conclusion was that there wasn't anything untoward happened.
A convict escaped from your prison, Governor. Hardly what you'd call nothing untoward.
Well,
The convict's death certificate... I don't know, that was a weird emphasis. The convict's death certificate was somehow falsified after he was allegedly executed. And he escaped the prison inside his own coffin. A plan of that complexity could never have been carried out without the help of somebody of influence inside the prison.
Governor Caidin, don't imagine that the passage of time will afford you any protection. If it turns out that you were involved in the plot to break Mr. Asogi out of your prison, then of course, the consequences will be very serious. In all likelihood, a capital punishment.
Oh, no.
Kazuma, you're sort of reducing the incentive for him to speak about what's happened, aren't you?
I know what I'm doing, Ryunosuke.
Capital punishments, they're what I do. They're like my speciality. Cats! Hold on there, laddie. All I did was...
Witness, Governor Caidin.
Shut up.
Aye, sir!
You have a critical role to play in the public safety of our country. Prepare
Matt
to
Mercer?
roll for initiative. Oh dear, a 1. A great responsibility to shoulder. The significance of your testimony in court cannot be understated. Therefore, think carefully before you speak.
Think carefully before you implicate me. I mean...
And Prosecutor Asogi, if you threaten the witness again, you will be held in contempt of court.
My apologies, my lord.
There's no disputing the fact that an intricate jailbreak plot was enacted 10 years ago. Clearly, you were both involved in some way. So you will testify before the court now and explain exactly what took place.
Very well. Let the witnesses give their formal testimony. Tell the court everything you know of the plot to break Asogi out of Barclay 10 years ago.
Now, laddie, if you utter one single word, I'll rip your head off.
Oh, jeez, I'd believe it.
I do
Wait,
carry
wrong
my
one.
axe.
I believe it.
I've got an axe around my waist, laddie. I don't want to use
With your
it.
massive
but
arms
I
and
will.
that. I really would hate to be snapped in half by your massive burly arms. But they do
Well,
look
you
very
like
strong.
them, do you? I worked hard on these puppies.
They are very strong. I would feel very safe in those nice burly
Do you
arms.
two need a minute?
Oh, sorry.
It was the day that Japanese jock was found guilty. The directive came from the prosecutor's office. I assigned the convict to the chief warder Vigil here, and put the plan into action behind the scenes.
I was responsible for Asogi right up until the night of his execution. But I knew nothing of any plot.
I didn't ken if there was some negotiations between the convict and the prosecutor's office. All I did was carry out my duty for Her Majesty's Great British Empire.
God save the Queen.
God save the Queen.
A directive from the prosecutor's office? Are you saying that was the jailbreak plot?
Aye, that's right.
Oh!
Who sent it? Who authorised that plan?
Well,
I can't say, really.
I didn't ken that.
You're saying you don't know?
Maybe. Listen, there wasn't a thing about there wasn't a thing about that professor case that wasn't unusual in some way.
Including letting him go?
I didn't ask any questions. I just did what I was told to do. More than that, I couldn't tell you.
I see.
It's really hard because, like, obviously I'm not Scottish, and I know I can kind of do a Scottish accent, but like if I see English words, like
Yeah.
normally written sort of English words without and them trying to sort of add an affectation to it,
Yeah.
I could just totally convert that to Scottish and just do it.
Yeah.
But because it's written
'Cause
with
it's
that
good-
sort of
yeah.
dialect, my brain just kind of can't process it quite right, and so I can't do it fluently.
I see.
But if the jailbreak plan originated from the prosecutor's office, then one thing is very clear. As suspected, there were clandestine dealings going on between Mr. Asogi and that office. The jailbreak was promised in exchange for Mr. Asogi admitting the crimes he didn't commit.
Oh, blimey.
That, Counsel, is nothing more than speculation on your part. So, let me ask the defense.
Oh, yes, my lord?
Do you bleed?
Jesus.
I fail to see how these witnesses have any more pertinent information here.
So one thing we can be sure of is that the witnesses do have more pertinent information.
Do you intend to assert your right to a cross-examination?
You bet my butt on it.
What do you... Dude, for real?
We're not going to say no, are we?
Absolutely! I have no intention of squandering a single opportunity, my lord.
Then please note, I have disabled the press button.
Oh, no.
Oh, what? He's just done a full Sans Undertale. He's popped out. And he's just like
totally
he
removes it.
smashes the press button with his unicorn stick.
His magic unicorn stick.
I know that was actually Asgore. I just wanted an excuse to say Sans Undertale.
Right. Good. I guess it's a good job that you clarified there so that you don't get, like, attacked ferociously.
Yeah.
It seems all you Japanese are fiercely tenacious.
Undertale playthrough from Disillusion plays one.
Wait, well, who said that?
Oh, Taylor. Very well. Proceed, Counsel.
For God's sake.
Yeah, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got into this situation.
Taylor, don't do it, otherwise people aren't gonna know who's who. They have enough trouble as it is.
I mean, that is true.
It was the day that Japanese jock was found guilty. The directive came from the prosecutor's office. I assigned the convict to Chief Warder Vigil here, put the plan into action behind the scenes. I was responsible for him up until the night of his execution, but I knew nothing of any plot. I didn't ken if there were some negotiations between the convict and the prosecutor's office. I ken if there was some... All I did was carry out my duty for Her Majesty's Great British Empire. Something tells me that's going to be the one, but...
So, the Asogi Papers, I bet. So he said it's the last weapon I have left. If I were a betting man, I would say that the Asogi Papers actually contain... Either they're not those or there's a hidden message there, where they put down in writing the context of the deal.
It is with a deep sadness that I accept my fate in this foreign land in the knowledge that I will never see my homeland or family again, but I regret nothing about my chosen path. So my natural inclination is to press everything. Do you both agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, just in case it uncovers
Yep.
something.
Hold it! And you say you don't know who actually issued the directive? You just received a telegram from the prosecutor's office saying, let the prisoner go, arrange an elaborate jailbreak plot, and didn't think, well, maybe I should figure out who this came from.
If you've quite finished badgering me. Aye, that's right. All I can be sure of is that it was official.
It said official right down at the bottom of the paper. Who would send a fake? You really think somebody would do that?
Official-
To send a fake telegram?
Seal of officiality, right there, stamped on the bottom.
But if it
That's
was...
you, Ringo. Do you remember where you put that fake official seal?
Taylor's
Can't find
just,
it anywhere.
Taylor's just really feeling. Taylor's really wishing he had a character to voice. He's like really missing the screen time.
Oh, don't be mean.
I'll be quiet.
See, now look what you've done. You've upset him. Come on.
He'll be fine in about 2 seconds.
That's what I have to work with. But if it was from the prosecutor's office, that narrows down who could have issued it straight away.
For the people playing along at home, cross off Pete and Taylor bickering on the bingo cards.
And it wasn't me. I can't even say with certainty that it did originate from the prosecutor's office.
Really? Come on.
Did you do any kind of
Did you not?
Spot checking.
Did you not think this was weird, man?
I'm no detective. I'm no police officer or anything like that.
You're no bloody nothing?
I just manage the prison and that's it. Can you please leave me be?
I'm not paid enough to ask questions.
No.
You know, what he's failed to mention is like the reason why he lost his job as a bank teller when somebody walked in with a slip of paper that said $1 million IOU, and he handed it. He's like, well, this looks official enough, and then just handed them everything that was in the vault.
Right. I can't even say with certainty that it did originate from the prosecutor's office.
What?
There's no telling where it started. There's a fair chance it came from higher up the ladder.
Oh,
Basically,
that narrows it down even more.
I can't give you any indication of who was behind it.
I think we've got an idea.
You can't be serious!
All we can say for sure is that the orders must have come from somebody in authority, I suppose.
The likes of us on the ground, as it were, didn't bother with idle speculation. It just...
Who asked you, smart cylinder?
Sorry, our Amazon Echo, not sponsored, just decided to flare up.
I didn't even say the name.
That's what drives me mad about those things. You don't say anything that sounds even vaguely like the awake word, wake word, and it frickin' comes on. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna talk over you for no reason.
And you can shout from upstairs about like 2 rooms away and it hears you, but you're right up against it, and then it's like, no, mate, I'm not gonna listen.
I was about to say, so this is just a small pet peeve, going on a slight tangent. I promise it won't be very long. So we often use it for a timer, right? You know, like we'll make tea and we have like a specific set of time, whatever. You'll stand next to the thing. We have it downstairs, and it'll just not hear you. You'll have to say like 3, 4, 5 times. One time, it went off. I was upstairs in the bathroom, which is like a full, I don't know, quite a few, like, I don't know, 10, 20 meters away. And it's like going off. I peeked my head out the bathroom, and I went, you know, wake word, stop. It stopped. I didn't particularly shout dead loud. I just sort of, you know, just said it with a slightly raised voice, and it heard me. First time, no qualm. They're designed to hear at the opposite ends of the house, but not necessarily anything else. They want to hear what you say in your sleep. They want to hear what you're doing behind closed doors.
I guess it's the opposite of that one YouTube video where the smart cylinder didn't understand the woman speaking with the Scottish accent until she put on a British accent.
Yeah, it's really annoying. Okay, rant over.
And that, viewers, is an insight to Disillusion Plays mundane life. Everyday mundane life.
The likes of us on the ground, as it were, didn't bother with idle speculation. We just get the job done.
She just flared up again.
No freaking way.
She lit up.
What did I say?
I don't know.
What did I say that sounds like the
Say
word?
job done?
The likes of us on the ground. The likes
likes
of us on
of
the
us.
ground.
The likes
of us.
Oh
it
my
must
god.
be the axe.
The likes of us. The likes of us on the ground.
She's not doing it. When technology goes rogue.
Hold it! So, Mr. Vigil, you didn't know anything about it at all?
That's right. My only role in the scheme was as a scapegoat. That's right, isn't it, Governor?
Oof.
Some poor beggar had to take the rap for it.
Oof.
Oof.
All
And
right.
it sure as hell was they gonna be me!
All right then. Who else did know about the plan?
Well, aside from my very tightly contained parrot, probably nobody.
Get the parrot on the stand.
Oh my god, are we gonna have to get another parrot up here to say exactly what was heard in the office?
Oh Christ.
I've no the first idea, laddie. My part in the whole business was basically just dealing with the aftermath. But I wouldn't be surprised if there were other folk in the prison service who'd given similar orders. Who'd been given similar orders.
So you don't know who else was involved?
Aye, that's right. All I can tell you is that the night it actually happened, the person at the reins was Dr. Stevens. Just
Dr.
Dr. Courtney Stevens?
Yeah.
Or Dr. Scythe, as she's known now.
We're going to Yorker. We're going to Yoker.
Jesus.
Why did I have to get caught up in such a terrible business?
Hold it! Did you not notice anything unusual happening in the lead up to that night?
Oh, everything was unusual. Exception after exception. After all, it was the Professor. The man had terrorized the country as never before with his crimes. In order to hide his identity, he was forced to wear an iron mask over his head.
Hideous treatment.
Sorry, what was that? The fellow was
Nothing.
the fellow was surprisingly docile for someone who'd taken the lives of 5 of the country's nobles. Being the chief warder, I was the only person permitted to approach his cell. I can still hardly believe that I was duped by my own country.
I believe you jumped from the window of the governor's office when the jailbreak was blamed on you, didn't you?
Losh, Vigil. I can't apologise enough.
Yeesh.
No, Governor. I don't believe you can. It won't change what's happened.
Too true. And what else can you tell us about the situation, Governor Caidin?
Everyone's just like,
What was Vigil's last statement again? Sorry.
But I knew nothing of any plot.
Well, would he have had a hint with him giving him the
He gave him the papers, didn't he?
Yeah, so would he have had
Yeah.
a hint that something's happening?
Mr. Asogi described it as the only... Yeah, like, he did... I guess there had to have been. I guess he has to... Yeah, okay, so let's
Surely it'd be like, okay.
let's keep that in mind while we
I
press
don't.
the
It
rest
might
of
not
them.
be, but like just as a thought.
No, I think you might...
Hold
be
it!
onto something.
But you've already acknowledged that orders came from the prosecutor's office to arrange for the man's escape. There must have been some sort of negotiation. It's the only explanation.
aye, well, be that as it may. I didn't ken nothing about that. The witness stand is no place for telling you what you don't know for sure. I ken that much, I do.
Then I presume you also know this. Not telling what you do know is a criminal offence. So you were just following orders, is that it? I'm afraid that won't absolve you of your guilt here.
A man was still killed illegally, even if he was a condemned criminal. You may very well be found complicit in murder, Governor.
So that's what it's to be, is it? Even with the threat of conviction, you won't break your silence.
All I did was carry out my duty.
Hold it! Did you carry out the plan in its entirety?
I carried out my duty.
He said dude.
Hey, I did everything I could at the time.
As you know, Genshin Asogi was shot dead in Lowgate Cemetery after the escape. Tell me, was that part of the plan too?
My instructions were to do with getting out the jock. My instructions were to do with getting the jock out of the jail and nothing more. I can't tell you anything about what happened after that. Only, personally, I believe his death was the last part of the plan.
Oh, there we go. Okay,
Oh,
okay, a reaction. Right, okay.
Oh, my head. Oh.
What?
Aye, it were a rum do, no doubt about. But God damn it, it were a rum do, no doubt about it. But you have to mind, they were special circumstances. It was to protect the British justice
my
system.
head
Right
right
round,
round,
baby,
right
right.
round. Like a
And
record,
do you
baby,
mind?
right round, right round.
But you have to mind, they were special circumstances. It was to protect the British justice system. That's just how the execution had to happen, I think.
Mr. Zetter, do you notice something strange with Mr. Vigil over there?
I did notice he seems to be a bit, spinny all of a sudden.
There seems to be a slight disturbance in the... You're saying that Mr. Asogi's murder in Lowgate Cemetery was his capital punishment? You realize Mr. Vigil tried to take his own life as a result?
Aye, well, that's another story.
Who was it? Who shot my father in the cemetery that night?
Don't stop using words like father, because it makes it sound like a conflict of interest. I've no answer to that question.
Oh, I think you do.
However it happened, the convict's life was destined to end that night. The moment the execution order was signed, his fate was sealed. This court will not pursue the identity of the individual. This court will not pursue the identity of the individual who carried out the order. Calm yourself, Asogi.
So Asogi-san agreed to confess to the crimes because he was assured he'd be broken out of prison later.
I really don't think that Kazuma-sama's father would have been engaged in such negotiations.
Then perhaps something compelled him to agree.
What a terrible thing. Using the law to legitimize such underhand dealings with a desperate man. Only to double-cross him in the end. It's quite the opposite of justice.
I can't help feeling there's something about this apparent negotiation that doesn't quite add up.
Something doesn't quite add up, Mr. Naruhodo.
Wait a minute. That was in my mind. How did you... Did I say that out loud again?
I just saw it sink.
No, it doesn't. But I can't quite put my finger on what yet.
Well, in that case, we must keep digging with a shovel until we identify the problem.
Although actually...
The spade will show us the way to freedom
With the
indeed.
shovel,
To actually agree with Naruhodo in this, the spade would not... Sorry, the shovel wouldn't do so well for the digging part, and you know that, Mr. Sato.
I refuse to believe anything else.
No, I mean, a shovel is good for scooping and, like, carrying things away, but the spade is good for digging.
I will not back down on this.
But that
No,
is
no, no.
actually
The
what-
spade is for digging, a shovel is for scooping loose material.
I am steadfast
Now,
in this,
do you
Mr.
know
Naruhodo.
what's really funny is that Taylor has now actually agreed with Susato's,
Wait
with
a
the
minute.
actual correct thing, and you've...
Mr. Naruhodo, did you just use reverse psychology on me?
I think he has.
No.
We will have words later, Mr.
Oh,
Naruhodo.
no, not words. Don't threaten... Wait a minute.
Did you carry out the plan in its entirety?
Are you taking the mickey, laddie?
I did everything I could at the time.
It was this one, wasn't it? And then, like, Vigil...
It was the lad. Yeah.
I can't tell you what
Should
happened. Personally, I
react.
believe
There we
it's...
go.
There we go. Right, so, Taylor, you ready for it?
Yep. Excuse me? Mr. Vigil, is something wrong?
Oh, God. It's me right now. Yes, sir. What can I do for you, sir?
He's saluting now. What is it? Some sort of Barclay convention?
Hey, Eddie.
What
Yeah,
Governor
yeah.
Caidin was just saying seemed to upset. Oh, that's what Pete does whenever I make a pun. He just clasps his head and he starts spinning in place.
I mean, I do get headaches quite frequently, so I mean, maybe that is it.
Oh no.
Did it bring some? He takes psychic chip damage every time there's a pun. It's just like he's just a slow damage over time thing.
He takes a hit to his sanity.
That's it.
Did it bring something to mind, perhaps?
I am so very strange, aren't I? For the last 10 years, I've completely blotted out the memories of that time from my mind. I was betrayed by my superiors in the name of my country.
Well, that's a HR claim that I'm gonna be in big trouble for. Just as my father was betrayed, it seems.
But you see, thinking back now, I really can't imagine that the shooting of Mr. Asogi in the cemetery was ever part of the plan.
What makes you think that?
Well, it just doesn't make sense, does it? To make the man admit to crimes he didn't commit with the promise of a jailbreak, only to kill him in the end. That's treachery of the worst kind. But the point is, if the intention was always to betray him, why would there be any need for all the chicaneries of an escape?
Yeah.
Ah!
Yes, that's quite true.
If whoever negotiated with Asogi never intended to keep his or her end of the bargain, it would have been far simpler just to let the man be executed in prison as dictated by his sentence.
Yeah. Chamber of Secrets. Wait a minute. There's a basilisk down there?
Wait a second.
Wait a minute.
Oh no, and now one of us is going to have to turn into a cat.
Oh, no. Okay, guys, don't look it in the eye, or you'll be turned to stone. You'll be petrified. It all happened in that vast chamber of secrets that is Barclay, behind the high prison walls. I suppose nobody knows what really went on in the execution room now.
I think they've got their knowledge, their trivia knowledge incorrect though, because the prison wasn't, but Barclay wasn't the prison. Like the Chamber of Secrets wasn't the prison. That was the Azkaban, wasn't it? We've got the Chamber of Secrets was in the school.
Yes.
And the prison was the Azkaban.
It was Azkaban.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they got the trivia mixed up. Anyway. I suppose
nobody knows what really went on in the execution room now. Yes, it's an unsettling mystery, certainly.
This spot on the floor is really dirty.
Truth be told, there is a wee matter that's never quite made sense to me. If you believe there was some kind of negotiation behind the jailbreak between Asogi and the body at the top, it doesn't quite add up, does it?
Governor Caidin, I must insist that you explain these doubts that you have.
I don't think so, sir.
By amending your formal testimony.
No! Guts!
No!
Aye. Go on, then.
But no!
Damn!
Sugar.
Seems to me that the Japanese fella didn't have nothing to bargain.
Oh,
He did.
the papers, the Asogi
There we
papers.
go.
Right, so hang on.
They almost the banana. Almost, you nearly got me. You nearly got me, game.
Sarah, you sound very fixated on bananas today, darling. Is there something on your mind?
Oh, there it is.
Wait a minute, Bat
Right,
Mary.
everyone, cross off the Taylor makes some kind of sex joke. Bingo square. Kaboom.
Objection! Confessing under oath to murders he didn't commit on a verbal assurance of later being broken out of prison, Genshin Asogi was taking an incredibly risky gamble.
Very true. There was nothing to stop the British breaking their word and executing him behind closed doors anyway.
I know, those British people, they never hold up their end of the bargain, do they?
Disgusting, aren't they, really? Don't know how they can do it. How they sleep at night.
Some of them don't sleep at all.
Horlicks.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait. Horlicks?
Have a Horlicks. Not sponsored.
Oh my god.
Or perhaps, no. I suppose at this time period it'd be Ovaltine, wouldn't it?
Ovaltine.
They'd have their mug of Ovaltine.
Or the hot milk, I guess.
Guys, if you don't know what Horlicks is, just sit over here in the corner with me. 'Cause I don't.
It's a branded malt drink,
Yes.
or a brand of malt drink that supposedly helps with, I don't know.
Sleepy time.
I mean, I guess you can have it whenever you want, but like they generally sort of suggest that it's for kind of helping you sleep.
But yeah,
at
it's
night.
like this malt milk powder that's, it could be flavoured in chocolate as well.
It's kind of, I mean, honestly, it's kind of horrible.
Yeah,
I like
it's
malt biscuits, but I'm not
the
a keen.
Look,
greatest.
Pete! Here we go. Now you just tanked our shot for a Horlicks sponsorship. Well done, you.
Oh no!
Under normal circumstances. Oh my god.
Could you imagine being a YouTube like Let's Play channel and being sponsored by like a really mundane random like UK product. Like we're sponsored by Bisto Gravy Granules.
Always
Sponsored
ultra,
by
spread your
Mrs.
wings.
Whatever her name is, Digestive Biscuits.
McVitie's.
McVitie's. Mrs.
Sponsored by McVitie's Digestives.
Hey, digestives are
That'd be
good,
so
especially the
weird.
chocolate ones.
It'll be sponsored by McVitie's. Although, to be fair, McVitie's, if you would like to sponsor us, I wouldn't say no.
No, free biscuits will go down very well.
I do like me a good biscuit. For those of you across the pond, by biscuit we're not referring to scones.
We mean cookies.
We mean cookies. Anyway,
Suppose next poll: do you dunk the biscuit or do you not?
and by biscuit again we mean cookie.
Under normal circumstances, no man would stake his life on a gentleman's agreement like that.
Which means that Mr. Asogi must have had a trump card. Something that guaranteed he wouldn't be betrayed. Some kind of weapon.
Smelly card. Havers! The fella couldn't have possibly had nothing like... Nothing? Havers?
Havers.
Is it Havers?
Havers.
Havers! The fella couldn't have possibly had anything like that.
Have had.
I've had...
But you know that he did, Governor.
I don't take
The
the mick
Asogi
out of you
Papers.
when you're saying stuff, you bully.
Now.
What?
Children.
The name given to the last will and testament of Genshin Asogi.
Ah!
Oh, bother.
It turns out that Mr. Asogi was hiding his will in his cell at Barclay. Chief Warder Vigil caught him with it one day.
You
Oh,
You
Christ!
squealed, did you, you wee rat? Did I not tell you to keep that a secret?
Uh-oh.
You can't touch me now. Although I do realise that you have got hold of me. Grrr!
When Mr. Vigil caught sight of that will through the bars of the convict cell, Mr. Asogi pleaded with the warder.
All right then. What's on that paper?
My last will and testament. This will is the only weapon I have left now.
I'm amused because I'm now thinking of the voice reminds me of my name is Inigo Montoya.
Do you know, I had the same thought.
You killed my father. Prepare to die. It's not quite that, but it's similar. A weapon.
And after the convict had been killed following the elaborate pretense of the jailbreak, that document mysteriously disappeared, didn't it?
Well, yes. All the prison warders searched through the belongings in his cell, but that will was just nowhere to be found.
As I understand it, an exhaustive search was made for the document, which became known as the Asogi Papers. Governor Caidin, I believe you ordered your prison staff to find it at all costs, didn't you?
Eh?
Would I be right in saying that you knew? You knew that the so-called Asogi Papers had the potential to make great waves somehow.
Jinx! Jinkies! What the blazes are you blathering about? The will was found, right and proper. In the fella's cell, where I said it would be.
How? But how can that be? Where in his cell? We all searched the place. How? From top to bottom.
Well, you didn't do a proper job, eh? You peely wally galoot!
Oh, dear.
You can't criticize me now.
I showed it to you afore, did I know, young lawyer? Young lawyer?
Yes, you did. I have the document here. It's written in Japanese and reads, The Last Will and Testament of Genshin Asogi.
Oh, cripes, if only I knew how to read.
Oh, Jesus.
Which means everything is as it should be.
Not quite, my lord. You see, there's an undeniable inconsistency here.
What? What inconsistency?
Mr. Asogi described this document as the only weapon he had left. And yet, this will contains nothing of significance at all. Nothing that would have given the convict any leverage. Leverage?
Leverage.
Leverage.
Are you suggesting, my learned friend, that the last will and testament stored at Barclay prison all these years is actually a fake?
Yep.
As has clearly been demonstrated already, what went on at Barclay prison was far from above board.
Boom.
That last vilification by the defense was an affront to the entire British legal system.
Your face is an affront.
This absurd notion of a weapon is something for which we have only the former chief warder's word. The man could quite easily be lying, or at the very least, sorely mistaken. I say staring daggers at him right now.
What? Ow! No! I definitely heard him say that, I swear!
Clearly, we need to get to the bottom of this.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do!
No!
Shut up! We need to know exactly what happened with these so-called Asogi Papers.
A waste
They're
of time!
lying in the bird cages, are they? I tore them up and I put them in Didn't They Do Its cage. Okay, you got me. You can me. I'm done. That's it.
A waste of time! If the will was fake, where is the real document?
Objection! Mr. Vigil was stabbed in the back by the judiciary 10 years ago. He lost everything, very nearly his own life. And now you're going to do it again. You're ready to brand him a liar and turn your back on him without even letting him defend himself.
Good point.
Oh, it's clear that Barclay prison is hiding something.
It's clear
that the jailbreak was masterminded by somebody in the professor's office.
It's clear that some illicit negotiations took place.
Is your lordship just going to gloss over these obvious facts?
What did you say?
You can't reach me up
We
here.
should need more from the chief
Have him
warder.
testify
Have
again.
him testify
The
again.
trial must go on. The man's voice must be heard.
It would seem that a vocal few here are utterly blind to the truth. Very well, then. Let the witness testify again. Tell the court precisely what you think you saw of the convict's last will and testament.
Yes, sir. My lord.
Oh, don't bloody do that now.
Don't belong me.
You've blown it, laddie.
Laddie?
If you manage to get out of the other side of this, don't think you're going to be going back to a nice, warm, comfy bed.
Oh no, that means Mrs. Vigil will be single. How terrible.
She'll be a widow.
As the warder responsible for condemned convicts, I attended to Mr. Asogi and kept watch over his cell. Ow! The night after he was found guilty in court, he was doing something with that will in his cell. We turned the cell inside out looking for it after the execution, but to no avail.
I only found out about the Asogi Papers when a directive came telling me to impound them. The document was in the folds of the fellow's robe that was left in his cell. A kimono, I think it's called. A kimono.
In his kimono? That's a lie. We searched every inch of the man's cell. We looked through all his clothes. It can't be true.
Well, are you not satisfied with calling me a liar the once, eh? You wee waffinger.
There's nothing you can do about it now. You don't have any hold over me anymore. Other than the old you like to take on my cravat, of course. Is that what you're gonna do, is it?
It's pretty impressive that he's able to undulate like that on his own.
Yeah.
Are you gonna give me a good shake again? Or are you too scared?
Oh dear.
Little and large. What a double act.
We complied with Asogi's will as far as was possible. all of his personal effects were delivered to his family home in Japan. As a courtesy of the homeland of the most notorious killer our country has ever seen.
And we were much obliged. I can confirm that all my father's belongings arrived safely.
Aye, and you can't deny the handwriting is of your old man, eh?
Yes. There's no mistaking that it's my father's brushwork.
Really?
And this last will and testament was the man's last weapon, was it? I think we can safely assume that the convict was merely prattling, knowing that his end was nigh.
I don't like that smile.
No,
I really don't
no.
like that smile.
Somebody needs to wipe that off his face.
So, counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, please.
Whew! Baraboomba! Yes, my lord!
I mean, technically not everything went back because of the ring. The ring didn't, did it? Because that was
Suppose no, that's
supposedly
true.
in
And
his stomach. But
we do have the ring in evidence.
yeah, because we
yes.
proved.
See.
Belonging to Genshin
Yeah.
Asogi, found in Lord Clint Van Ziek's stomach. I mean, we could do
And
that one.
they like supposedly like we disproved that it was found inside Clinton because it didn't do any damage.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So let's have a look. We turn the cell inside out. Yeah, let's screw it. Let's see. I only found out about the Asogi Papers when a directive came telling me to impound them. The document was in the folds of the fellow's robe that was left in his cell. A kimono, I think it's called. Oh, okay, no.
Oh, we don't
It's
even
not
have anything that...
Yeah, right.
No, it's all right. I'm just like I'm probably just.
Watch
I'm
every
just
cell.
I think you're
mention-
onto something, though.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just
absolutely.
mentioning stuff.
Sarah, there's nothing wrong with that, though. It's relevant. He was doing something with that will in his cell. We turned the cell inside out looking for it, but to no avail. We only found out about the papers when a directive was given. The document was inside the folds of his robe. Wrong button. So we were given... It was given to us by...
Caidin.
Was it Caidin? who
Caidin gave it to us. It was in his office.
Okay. Right, well, I guess in that case, let's press everything.
Hold it! So would that mean you conversed with Mr. Asogi?
Yes, certainly. Though there was precious little time before his execution was due. He was remarkably calm, considering his days were very much numbered. In all honesty, he really didn't strike one as a man capable of mass murder. Almost like he'd been set up. Yet he confessed in full to the crimes. Oh no. That's why I felt compelled to ask him one day. I can still recall his reply. I'm guilty of the unforgivable crime of ending another human's life. Yes. But he was so tranquil and intelligent. It put me in mind of an Eastern holy man.
And what about the wheel you saw him with? What can you tell us about that?
It was the beginning of all the drama. I remember it very well, yes. Flashback. Oh no. Ow!
Hold it! And he pleaded with you not to report him, didn't he?
Yes, that's right. And like the Bampot Yar, you didn't tell me. A blatant breach
Whoa!
of trust that was.
That's one to talk. Excuse me.
I could see that the man had a noble spirit. I found myself wanting to treat him accordingly.
But according to what you told us 2 days ago, Convict had been strictly forbidden from having any writing materials whatsoever.
Yes, you're quite right.
Ah, so when exactly was the will penned?
That was before the man was remanded in Barclay, obviously. Yes, at the prosecutor's office under supervision of the relevant authorities. I personally instructed Asogi to make a will for the benefit of his family in his homeland.
In that case, why was it found in his cell?
What do you mean by that?
Well, if it was penned at the prosecutor's office, you would have expected that it would remain there for safekeeping, surely. It's curious. There doesn't seem to be any obvious explanation for why it was subsequently found in the complicated convict's cell.
Snow?
Snow?
The convict's snow?
I said cell.
You said
convict cell.
That came through like snow.
Yeah,
I don't know if
that was like
headphones
no,
just
if that was
glitched
like a
out there.
Discord error or something. But yeah, that was really weird.
That was strange.
Found
In the convict's white powder. Convict cell.
There we go. Oosh. Well.
The defense. The defense.
Oh, it's spreading.
Oh no,
Uh-oh.
it's spreading.
The defense makes an astute point. Well, Governor,
A prison governor, can he be expected to ken the inner workings of the prosecutor's office?
in that case, Lord Strongheart, perhaps you can shed some light on the matter.
As if!
Why are you laughing?
I'm unable to offer an explanation here and now.
Of course.
I would have to consult with the notary responsible for the will at the time.
Well, do it then!
But I can't be bothered, so I'm not going to.
The fact that my father's will was discovered in his cell is clearly inconsistent with what was expected. I want to know why.
Another inexplicable mystery, then.
Well, the thing is about that will.
We turned the cell inside out, looking
Hold
for
it!
but to no avail.
It was the governor who ordered the search for the will, as I understand it. Is that right?
Yeah. And when I reported back that we couldn't find it, he grabbed me by the cravat and yelled, "It can't have disappeared completely," in my face.
I like that the cravat also stretches out,
Yeah.
makes it doubly impressive that he's able to do that himself.
Aye. Well, it's doing to the governor to keep everybody working as hard as they should.
I mean, he dressed up as Gossip for quite a while, so I guess he's quite a good actor.
Yes.
I think the governor needs a wee taste of his own medicine, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, that was very impressive, Mr. Zato.
Thank you.
The point is, it was clearly considered a very important document, wasn't it?
But it proved impossible to find.
That's right. Then before I knew it, it was in the morning paper. That blood-curdling article. The executed mass murderer who'd risen from the dead.
Oh, you mean...
The article based on Mr. Drebber's experience in Lowgate Cemetery.
Yes, that was it. That was it. The day after I'd read that news, I was summoned to the governor's office. And that's when the awful accusation was made.
That you'd aided Genshin Asogi to escape from the prison, resulting in your immediate dismissal.
I'm afraid I really don't remember anything after that. As the governor of the prison, I had no choice. I couldn't have done anything else. Okay.
Hold it! And that directive came from the same source as the one instructing you about the jailbreak?
Aye, from the top levels of the prosecutor's office.
What name was on it?
I didn't ken afore, and I didn't ken now. All I can tell you is that I really like stroking my hair, combing my hair. All I can tell you is that my orders were to do everything in my power to find that document. The directive said it had to be somewhere inside the fella's cell.
Conveniently.
Document. Was that the wording? Document, not will.
Aye, that's what it said.
Am I clutching at straws here? I just wonder if it was really Genshin Asogi's last will and testament that the center of that directive was after.
Continue with your testimony then, witness.
The document was in the folds of the fellow's robe.
Hold it! In Mr. Asogi's kimono.
Aye, the one he'd brought with him when he was locked up.
Yes, he was permitted to have his personal effects with him during his incarceration, I understand?
Except for writing equipment, aye. That's right. He was granted as much freedom as possible during the last few days before his execution.
Indeed. He had a number of items of personal significance, I remember. He was very reluctant to part with them. Some books, a kimono, his sword.
His sword?!
Karuma, the famous sword of the Asogi clan, bears the soul of my family.
I don't doubt it, but I wasn't really getting at that.
Forget about it being the soul of the clan. Could the man have had a more obvious weapon?
Have some respect, Ryunosuke!
Respectful silence.
The warders carry firearms at all times, and the inmates have shackles around their ankles. He couldn't have hurt anybody with that thing.
Still, he was allowed a sword but no writing materials.
Well, I wouldn't want him to write anything suspicious down. Might overthrow the government or something weird. Propaganda. Aye. He wrote that will before he came to stay with us at Barclay, you see. Dr. Mikotoba was asked to bring the necessary Japanese writing implements to the prosecutor's office.
Asusori inkstone, Laksumi ink, and some Hanshi rice paper, no doubt.
I've got no clue. I was present when he wrote it, but I'm sorry to say, the letters just look like a squirming mass of jet black earthworms to me.
Oh, my head. Oh, my God.
My father had a passion for calligraphy. He found the profound black colour of Sumi ink to be very soothing.
I honestly do not care one jot.
I'm sure that cursive Japanese script must look utterly incomprehensible to English eyes.
Anyhow, that's the document that was found in the fella's kimono. Despite the seriousness of his crimes, he was treated in a gentlemanly fashion until the end.
But was he treated in a gentlemanly fashion until the end? I know.
Curses.
I know. Damn it. I'm sorry, guys, but unfortunately we have reached the end of this episode. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching.
Yeah.
If you do like what we do, then please consider giving us a little like, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, and you'll be notified of our video uploads every Wednesday and Saturday. And in the meantime, while you're waiting, we've got plenty of other videos up there. Why not go check them out in the meantime?
Yeah.
And once again, we will catch you in the next one.
See you in the next episode, everybody.
And remember, the pen is always mightier than the sword unless you're actually carrying a physical sword with you, in which case it's probably a stronger option than the pen or the calligraphy brush, as the case may be.